The recaps, they're just going to keep on coming, guys. Ronald Acuna Jr., he caused some controversy with the Cardinals because he threw out Tyler O'Neill, and apparently the Cardinals manager thought that Tyler O'Neill was dogging it, pretty much being lazy, and that's why he got thrown out, and he did not hold back. He went off on Tyler O'Neill, so we'll talk about that in a second. Manny Machado, he went off on an umpire. I mean, he was kind of upset, but he just said one magic word that got him ejected, and we have to talk about Mad Max giving up 3 home runs in a row to the Brewers. Remember, guys, keep using code Fuzzy on SeatGeek if you want to save 20 bucks off your entire order if you're going to any baseball games or concerts. And also, we're so close to 450,000 subs, so if you have not subscribed, today's the day to do so. Now, before we talk about baseball, I want to talk about Liam Hendricks, the closer of the White Sox, winning the game of life. 5 months after being diagnosed with cancer, he is cancer-free. So when a patient rings the bell, again, that means that they are cancer-free. I cannot wait to see Liam Hendricks ramp up and get back out there, even though I'm a Guardians fan. I am a massive Liam Hendricks fan. I am so happy for both him and his family. I can't wait to see him back out there. Liam Hendricks is officially cancer-free. Let's go. Now, because this video is coming out a little bit later, I'm sorry I touched grass yesterday, so I didn't really get to watch any baseball, but I'll try and speed run through the highlights to save you guys some time. Oakland, I'm going to say this. They 100% made the correct choice by starting Esteury Ruiz over Christian Pache. Ruiz is electric. Already 3 doubles on the season. Remember, he once stole 85 bags in the minors, so that speed is elite. The contact rate, I feel like it's going to get better and better. Cleveland, as we just saw, they stormed the castle in the 4th and 5th inning in the most Guardians way possible. They got back into it, but then Shane Bieber gave the lead right back on a wild pitch, and Tony Kemp, he's got to be leading the league and being annoying, like top 1% and just being a thorn in your side. He turns into Barry Bonds when the game is on the line, or maybe Prime Ichiro is a better example because Barry Bonds, the power threat Ichiro, you know what I'm saying. Anyways, 3,400 people were in attendance, and I genuinely wonder what the future of the A's is. Are they going to move to Las Vegas? Are they going to build a new stadium? Because no one is supporting that team, even though that was a super fun game to watch. Can someone come pinch me? I feel like I must be dreaming. Did Kyle Gibson just turn into Corbin Burns out of nowhere all over again? Kyle Gibson, to me, he's not good, but all of a sudden, he's back to being good with the Orioles. Back-to-back very good starts as Baltimore's supercharged offense, they showed up yet again. Mullins, he is back. I'm so happy that he's back because he is one of my favorite players in baseball when he's playing like Cedric Mullins. Ryan Mountcastle lifted off for a 3-run home run, and Jorge Mateo is flat out playing like a stud. 2 home runs. He's leading baseball with 4 stolen bases and only 14 at-bats. Gibson, he struck out 5 over 7 brilliant innings. Baltimore, they're number 2 in home runs. They're top 5 in OPS, and now it's time. They're pushing the button. Grayson Rodriguez, he is being called up. He was nasty in spring in terms of the strikeout stuff, but he couldn't locate. Apparently, that's fixed now, even though he had 4 walks in 4 innings in his first AAA start. The only reason why he's being brought up against Jacob deGrom is because Kyle Bradish, he went down with that injury. He got hit by a comebacker, so Grayson, it was perfect timing. He's making his MLB debut, and I can't wait. We had a pretty cool moment in the Diamondbacks versus Padres game. Team Dominican Republic's manager got a job in baseball. Super cool moment because he went yard. Just kidding. That's obviously Nelson Cruz. Xander Bogaerts looks like a new breed of hitter. 3 home runs, and he is leading the National League in doubles already. But looky here. The Snakes, they got back into it. Geraldo Perdomo has been an RBI machine over the last few days. The Diamondbacks, they take the lead back in the 8th inning. They then extend the lead even more on a steal of home, straight out of a local high school game where if the ball went through to the shortstop, he was going to go home. Josh Rojas, he put on the burners, and he was safe at home. Dre Jamison, I thought he was going to be a big part of the Arizona Diamondbacks rotation, but he looks like a super utility relief guy. He closes out the game even though he gave up a bomb to Trent Grisham. Now, earlier in this one, I do want to show Manny Machado. He tried to call time at exactly 8 seconds. Apparently, that's not allowed. You have to be in the box and alert, ready to go with 8 seconds. Manny Machado called the umpire. I don't know if this is allowed on YouTube, but he called him a douchebag, and that's what got him thrown out. So I finally figured it out. He called the umpire a D-bag. The Dodgers and the Rockies, one of the easiest recaps thus far to begin this season. Will Smith, he just refuses to stop the leading baseballs. 3 home runs and 9 RBIs after that home run. Jason Hayward is playing like 2010 Braves Jason Hayward, his 2nd of the season. Max Muncy, finally. The dude is now 3 for 20 with 11 strikeouts, so any production at all is welcome. Julio Urias was Julio Urias. 6 shutout. He is leading the National League in strikeouts as Will Smith, another RBI. He brings in Mookie Betts for his 10th RBI on the season. Evan Phillips' success, thank thank you very much. I have him on my So Rare team. That is a save, which is huge for me. Okay, can someone fill me in on who this Jason Vossler guy is? I didn't think that he was very good for the Giants, but then he goes to the Reds and he becomes a monster. Over his last 41 games, dating back to 2022, he has 7 home runs and a near 150 OPS plus, 3 consecutive games with a home run. Anyways, may I interest you guys in baseball's first ever World Star moment? Yeah, I mean, the Cubs absolutely went off on the Reds in the second half of this one. Some dude named Mastroboni even had an RBI. I don't know who that is, but shout out to him. 6 different Cubs hitters had an RBI. Mancini, Wisdom, Hosmer, they all had multi-RBI days, and even Cody Bellinger, he got in on the action with that little RBI singy. Anyways, moving over to the Marlins and the Twins, Avisaíl Garcia finally got on the board. He needed that because, wow, he has been atrocious since the beginning of last year, and from there, not a single run scored for either team. Shout out to Kenta Maeda for doing his thing. 9 strikeouts, 0 walks over 5 innings. I forgot how nasty he could be, but the story is obviously the reigning NL Cy Young winner, Sandy Alcantara, who was vintage Sandy yesterday. The reigning Cy Young champ tossed a complete game shutout. In the 9th inning, he was throwing 100 miles an hour because of course he was. It's a bad start when Sandy does not go 7 innings. His arm is essentially made of metal. Honestly, he could have starred in Civil War as Bucky because, again, that arm is made of metal. He is one of the most valuable players in baseball because he saves the bullpen. He's going to throw 7+ every single time, pretty much guaranteed. The Rays and the Nationals, the first time in 2023 that a Rays starting pitcher allowed more than 1 earned run in a single start, but that's okay because their offense put up a 10 spot. This team has exactly 0 holes. Randy, he started the scoring with a double early, and Jose Siri has been on fire since the jump. He's a platinum defense kind of guy with top 5% sprint speed, by the way, so his talent is crazy. Now, the wheels did end up falling off for Josh Fleming, the starting pitcher for the Rays, as Lane Thomas had 3 RBIs. He was born to destroy lefties, by the way. But again, lucky for Fleming and the Rays, their offense is firing on all cylinders right now. Another RBI 2-bagger for Randy. Luke Raley went yard again, 8 home runs over his last 56 at-bats if you count spring training. Josh Lowe, one of my favorite prospects in baseball, 430 feet, and look at this Yandy Diaz fella. He's hitting 360 with 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, and this is after he had a 143 OPS plus in 2022. Yeah, he rakes. The Brewers and the Mets, I'm just gonna say this right now, the Marlins are kind of stupid. I have no idea why they let Brian Anderson go for basically nothing. He rips a 2-run double, but he was not done just yet. I mean, we'll wait for him because he went off in this game. Scherzer, he did settle down for the next 4 innings. He threw 4 straight scoreless, actually. He was matching Wade Miley until the Brewers decided to go full-blown Murderers Row Yankees and turn Scherzer into someone like Zach Plesac. Real quick, actually, I don't want to forget that Wade Miley, who I forgot was back on the Brewers. He was with the Brewers back in 2018 when he had a 2.57 ERA, his best season in baseball. He went 6 shutout innings, but back to the offense. Rowdy Tellez, Brian Anderson, and Garrett Mitchell, they all made Max Scherzer look average. 3 home runs in a row, and Brian Anderson, he might be starring in BA vs. the World because he is playing angry right now. The Marlins, they gave up on him. The Brewers, they took a chance. 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, and 15 at-bats. Garrett Mitchell hit his 2nd home run of the game as well. Overreaction time. If you are a fan of any National League team, you're going to have to go through the Brewers in the championship series. Right now, they look like the favorite. They are so good across the board. So we just saw Brian Anderson and Garrett Mitchell, 2 different hitters, go off for a multi-home run game in the same game. And Seattle, they had the same thing happen. I can't remember the last time this happened where 2 guys on the same team had 2 home runs, and then another team did that. Teoscar Hernandez doesn't hit cheapies. Those 2 home runs both traveled 420 plus feet. That all came before the 5th inning came to a close. Luis Castillo, he was all right, I guess. If all right means amazing, he has not allowed a single earned run in 12 innings of work so far to begin 2023. But remember, someone else had a multi-home run game as well. That was AJ Pollock. It was a slow start for the Mariners, but honestly, as the days progress, I feel like they're going to get better and better. Seattle in that lineup, they are going to wreck shop. So shout out to the Brewers and the Mariners. They both had 2 guys with multi-home run games. Who would have thought that Yusei Kikuchi would be the savior of week 1 for the Blue Jays, but he was. He was back on the bump for the first time since basically transforming into Sandy Koufax over spring. And Franmil, yes, he does go 460, but that's okay. Yusei, he was able to settle down and his team picked him up. The Gold Glover Varsho, remember, he's a part-time catcher. He has a hose for an arm. He throws a seed. He gets the runner out by a mile. Matt Chapman went 3 for 4. He drove in a run right there. Whit Merrifield, field, he grabbed the lead on a wild pitch, and you say he carved. He did not let that home run to Franmil phase him. 5 innings, 3 hits, by far the best start of any Toronto starting pitcher. I hope that he can stay the course and keep fine-tuning those mechanics. And here's a fun fact from Fuzzy. That right there was the first opposite field home run of Dalton Varsho's career. That trade has already proven to be a massive W for the Blue Jays, and Jordan Romano, he now has 2 saves on the season. Austin Riley is no joke, and it's so crazy to say out loud that he's only 26 years old. He carries himself like a 28, 29-year-old in his prime. Like, he just turned 26. He's 1 home run away from 100 for his career. He has a 140 OPS plus since 2021. Anyway, sorry, had to fanboy real quick because he was almost cut by the Braves a few seasons ago after really slumping, but he is back and better than ever. Arcia, he went yard for his first home run of the season, and there's Sean Murphy's first RBI. The Braves offense, they gave rookie Dylan Dodd some support, and he did the rest. Well, Ronald, he helped out as well with his host piece of an arm. We'll talk about his manager's quotes in just a second, because shout out to Dylan Dodd. He finished his debut with a very good stat line. 0 walks, 1 earned run over 5 innings. Austin Riley, he kind of saved the game with this unreal play over at third base. He is a monster all the way around. AJ Minter had an easy 1-2-3 ninth inning. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals going off on Tyler O'Neill. He was not happy.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys playing really hard. That's not our style of play as far as the effort rounding the bag there. It's unacceptable. Yeah. Bottom line is that's not his judgment. That's why we have a coach standing over there. Your effort's 100% until you're told not to.
You know, I got up through the minor leagues and into the big leagues playing hard and playing scrappy, and you know, that's who I am, that's my character, and I don't ever want anyone to take that away from me. You know, these conversations definitely could have been had in-house and not gotten out on the loose like they have.
So we have a couple games that ended with a 4-1 box score. Ji-Won Bae, I hope that's how you say his name. He was the 22,841st player ever to make his MLB debut. Just a fun fact for me. He went yard, and I'm not gonna lie, I thought he made his debut this year. He hit 333 in 10 games last year for the Pirates. He looks pretty decent. You know who else is decent? The MLB leader in home runs, Brian Reynolds, a home run in 3 consecutive games over his last 150 going back to last season. 31 home runs, a 132 OPS plus. Now let's go ahead and talk about some pitching real quick, where Yonesy Contreras, he was turning some heads. He wasn't his usual nasty self, only 2 strikeouts, but 1 earned run, 3 hits. He got the job done. Keep a lookout for him going forward. Reynolds, he grabbed another RBI just for fun as David Bednar. He has a negative .11 FIP, 3 saves already on the season, no walks, 5 strikeouts in 3 innings. Yeah, that means a negative FIP. Another 4-1 ball game. The Yankees were trying to ensure that the Phillies would start 0-5. The Phillies are the final team in baseball without a win. Let's see if they can reverse the curse. Schwarber, he understood the assignment, his 200 home run in his career, and wow, Brandon Marsh, 440 feet. We know that Brandon Marsh is a fantastic defender. He's got great speed as well, so if he can unlock the power, wow. Newcomer Matt Strom, who is usually a bullpen guy, he went 4 frames, allowed just 1 hit, so 4 scoreless, 1 hit. He didn't go 5, so he couldn't qualify for a W. But the Phillies, they finally did it. Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber, they brought home a few more on some singles, and Craig Kimbrell, he did his thing, which means that he allowed a run, he allowed multiple base runners, he caused his own fans to lose years off their lives, but he got the save. The Tigers and the Astros, I'm only going to show highlights from 3 guys in this one. Spencer Torkelson, Riley Green, and Matt Manning. These 3 young dudes are going to be pillars for Detroit if they ever become relevant. Torkelson had an RBI double. Riley Green in center field, he robbed Jordan to save Matt Manning's gem and a potential Houston rally. Torkelson hit a big boy home run. He brought home Riley Green on that mammoth 430-foot blast. He fell just a triple away from the cycle. Detroit, they shocked the world against Framber Valdez and company. They won back-to-back games against the mighty Astros. That does it for today's recap. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm sorry that this came out a little bit later than usual, but hopefully I made up for it. We talked about a lot. Thank you all so much for your support, and I'll catch you tomorrow for another MLB recap.